I want to see everyone's beautiful faces. If you can turn your camera on, I would love to see your gorgeous, gorgeous face. I'm going to get us live on the Facebook group here. Good morning. Nikki's here. Jacqueline's here. Hi, Jacqueline, Lizzie, Scarlett. So excited for today. I want you to put it in the chat. Have you noticed, hey, Stella, have you noticed anything that has shifted in the last 24 hours and how you're showing up for yourself, for your movement? Because I've noticed it. Like I do this work on myself every single day of how can I lead Freedom Queen to another level? How can I lead my clients to more money, more success, more growth, more fulfillment, more on purpose living, more happiness in their life? I'm not afraid anymore. I effing got this. Also, from being in Wealth Embodied. Yes, I freaking love that program. Deeper embodiment, more certainty in my ability to serve, clarity. Yes, yes, yes. So today we're going to be going into leading your community. What does it actually mean about leading your community, and what does this look like? Stella said that slapped about integrity. Yes, I was really just being so honest and transparent with you all yesterday, and I'm going to do the same today. Is that okay if I just kind of tell you like it is today? Is that okay if I am willing to be so uncomfortable with you all, be unliked by you, so maybe you can see some of your biggest gaps and breakthroughs? Go for it. Let's go. Yes, we have so many more people coming in. If you guys know someone that's supposed to be here, make sure that they're on, send them a message, and I'm going to drop our Zoom link inside of the Facebook group as well. Okay, let us rip, Jacqueline says. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hi, Pearl. Congratulations on winning the $100. Okay, let's get into this. So the reason we're talking about community is because community is the thing. Let me go back. I don't want that. Community is the thing that has scaled Freedom Queen. I could say to you, it's my ability to be able to sell. It's that I know how to talk about transformations. It's that I know how to make money. I could tell you it's all of those things, but the reality of Freedom Queen is that it is built on this insane community. Put it in the chat. When you're inside of Freedom Queen, what do you feel? And does Freedom Queen feel like something different to you? Home, alive? Does it feel like other coaching programs, or maybe not even coaching, but like other communities that you've been in? Audacious, big moves, confidence, let's effing go energy, potential, limitless expansion, very inspiring. Feels like they're actually doing things. We don't just talk about it, but we're actually going after it. In building a community, hey, Lena, anything is possible. Loretta, hey, Loretta. In building a community, when you lead it, and you lead it with not only integrity, but also you're deliberate and intentional about how you're leading, how you're bringing people into your world, what the identity of the community is, you will make so much more money. Why? Because it's so much clearer if someone's able to go to their friend and say, I know what Hannah's doing. I know what Lizzie's doing, what Ebony's doing, what Loretta's doing, what Nikki's doing, what Victoria's doing. And it's different and it's unique. And this is how I feel when I'm inside of their space. What will happen is the word will spread. And you'll create messengers about the thing that it is you're creating. But a lot of you, what is happening inside of your messaging and inside of the way you lead your communities is you are just an insert whatever coach, just a hormone coach, just a business coach, just a social media manager. And that's not who you are. You are a leader of a massive international movement. You are creating something that has never been done before. So from this day moving forward, when you're thinking about building your movement, don't just think about it like, oh, I'm XYZ coach. No, you're not. You are, insert whatever vision it is that you're bringing to this world. You are, insert name of your movement. And if anything, you are, insert your name. Put your name in the chat. I want you to just see it for a minute. I always love doing this inside of my trainings. Put your name in the chat. And I want you to just see your name in the chat. Linda Stretton, Maria, Lindsay, Jacqueline, Victoria, Margot, Kristen, Hannah, Lena, Scarlett, Julia, Lizzie, Vince, like Haley James, Pearl. I can't even read Kirsten. I'm trying to read everybody. Kate, hey, Kate. Melissa, that's who you are. So the next time you get caught up in trying to be like someone else and trying to play someone else's game, you've got to remember who you are. You want to unlock more wealth? Tap into that. You want to build a community of so many women that are going and moving and taking action and showing up? Remember who you are first, which is why yesterday we talked so much about leading or embodying the vision. So I want you to put it in the chat. Did you do your homework and post your homework in the Facebook group? What is your vision? What is the vision that you have for your community? And if you didn't do your homework, make sure that you go back and do it, because action takers are money makers. What is the vision that you have for your community? And if I want you to put it in the chat, for me, the vision of Freedom Queen is for you to be able to build $1 million movement and wake up the world. What is your vision that you have for your community? Where are you taking them? Put it in the chat. And you guys, I want, like, action takers are money makers. Come on, I want to see 57 visions in the chat. I'm going to love and shove you this morning. 57 visions in the chat. What is the vision that you have for your community? Help women be the queen of their life, win crowns and change the world, show others, build financial freedom. For my clients, I feel at peace with food, binge free. Keep putting them in the chat. I want to see these beautiful, beautiful visions. Every single day when you wake up and you're wanting to lead your community, I want you to tap back into this vision here. This vision is what's going to drive you. And yesterday, something that we talked about is you can only go as far as the vision you can cast. If you can't cast a vision that's big, you're probably going to stunt your growth. And the same thing for your community. And as you grow your business, your vision will change and evolve, but it's so important that the essence of the vision remains the same. You're continuing to strive for something. You're continuing to go in an upward motion. So today I want to talk with you about, after you've casted the vision, after you've said, hey, this is where we're going, and you've brought the people there, how do we lead the community? How do we grow the community? And how do we build more connection? So I put this quote here. And if you would, let me see if I put this on here. Yeah, okay. If you would, throughout today's training, take photos of the training and tag me on Instagram, because we're going to be doing another giveaway. We did a giveaway yesterday and Pearl won the $100 cash. On Friday, I'm going to be selecting the winner, and you're going to get $500 credit towards any of our programs, $500 credit towards any of our program. So throughout today's training, if you get a download, if you're like, I want to share this, I would love it if you could share it on Instagram and tag me. And then on Friday, we're going to select the winner. And I put this quote here because this is a great one to screenshot and share. If you took the time to build the hottest movement on the internet, you'd never have to try to make a sale again. You never have to try and push and say, hey, everybody has to work with me and you guys, and it would never have to feel like this energy. But most people are looking for the quick fix. Most people are looking for, how can I solve this quickly? And how can I just get people to buy from me? And But if you take the time to serve people at a really, really high level, you will make as much money as you want to make. If every day for the next year, 365 days, which isn't even a long time, you showed up for yourself, like we talked about yesterday, and embody the vision, And then part two of the $1 million formula, you led your community, you would have $1 million business. I'm telling you right now, if you show up every single day for your community and you lead them, you will have $1 million business. Hands down. And maybe not even like in the next year, but very soon, very, very soon. And so from this day moving forward, I want you to make this commitment to yourself. There's never going to be a day where you don't show up for yourself and your community. There's never going to be a moment where you say, maybe this isn't for me. I'm going to back off from this. There's never going to be a moment where you allow yourself to go into this energy of, well, she can, but I can't. From this day moving forward, you make a commitment to yourself. You owe it to yourself to be all in, to deeply serve the people that are around you. If she could do it, I could do it, I could do it. Put a yes in the chat if you know our Freedom Queen song. If she can do it, I can do it, I can do it. That is all you need to do, is serve. And I'm telling you right now, when you wake up every single day and you ask yourself, how can I be of service to others? And you show up for them. And I'm going to show you some of my strategies for how I show up for the community and how I build community. You make a deep impact on them. You serve them. You care about them. You create incredible connections with others. You'll have $1 million business. Put the word committed in the chat if you actually are committed to showing up for your community every day. Put the word committed. Committed. I'm committed. I'm committed. I'm committed. I'm committed. I'm committed. I'm committed. I want to see 66 committed inside of the chat. And I already know that not everyone is going to do this. I already know that people are going to make it about themselves and they're going to get super like, well, it's not working for me, da 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 da. It's not about you. I already told you I was going to go all in today. It's not about you. So the minute you start saying to yourself, well, woe is me and people aren't buying and they're not showing up, you deserve whatever you're getting. Okay? If people aren't buying from you, you deserve that. We just went there right away, but I really mean that. And so when I see people saying, like, you know, my audience is confused, you confuse them. When you see people saying, you know, like I hear people saying, oh, my community's not showing up, you're not showing up. Why? Because in a movement, there's a leader. And your job is to lead. Our audience, they're just mirrors. If you think about your audience, your community, like a relationship, and you never showed up for them, or you post it every day, for a month, and then all of a sudden you were like, bye guys. Or you were selling one time per week, and you're like, why aren't they buying? If you said, you guys, I'm gonna be all in, and then you're absolutely not all in, and the minute something happens, you're like, I quit. I'm just not for building a movement. She can do it, but not me. That's not leadership. And so if you're getting people that aren't buying from you, you deserve that. In a movement, there's a leader, Linda says in the chat. Dang, that hit, Lizzie says. And so from this day moving forward, I know all 66 of you in this room, you said you committed. You committed to showing up for your people. Because I don't even love the word coaching anymore. I really love the word service. Like, this is a service business. We are serving people. And the reason why I'm going so hard on this right now is because not only does service obviously create transformation for your clients, right? But service also, when you're doing it and you're serving people, you literally cannot you can't even, like, when you're deeply serving and impacting people and creating transformation, you can't at the same time also be so like selfish and feel bad about yourself 24/7. Last night I love this training. Yes. Oh, it's one of my favorite. A queen serves her people, she knows her duty. We're going to get into that in a second. Last night I said to Robbie, Robbie, I think one of the reasons I'm so happy every day, one of the reasons that I genuinely wake up every day like, let's freaking go, is because I think it's because I serve people every day. I like when I get on this training with you, I'm here with you. When I'm in like a Voxer with a client, I'm here with the client. I'm deeply serving them to my best ability possible. And that, you guys, that creates a compounding effect. Remember yesterday we talked about the pirate ship business model. We talked about boring coaching businesses versus $1 million movements. $1 million movements in the beginning, it might not be clear to you that they are actually money generating machines. Like they can, oops, someone's unmuted. There we go. They can create so much more money than the pirate ship business model. And the reason why I said they're kind of sneaky is because movements compound. So a pirate ship business might be quick. It might make you a bunch of money in the short term. But again, we talked about this yesterday. I've seen people's businesses where they'll make money, kind of get stagnant, and then it goes down. And then they'll have to do it again, versus the way I teach, especially inside of our $1 Million Movements Mastermind, to build in a sustainable way so that your business goes like this. You know, when people talk about, oh, my business is like this, my business has never been like that. It's been like this. Total growth over time. The movement building method has a sneaky effect because it compounds. So let's get into actually building the community here. If you just came on late, welcome everybody. I see some people are still coming on. We're talking about leading the community today, and I'm getting really raw and honest with you all. Make sure that as you're going throughout today's challenge, and if you have any revelations after today's challenge as well and training, tag me on Instagram, because on Friday I'm selecting the winner and giving a $500 credit to be used on any of our programs before 2024, which is amazing. And I bet some of you have already done it. Okay, so I am a freedom queen. When you're building your movement, you also want to really, really pay it. And Linda says, I'm manifesting that. Linda just had a $15,000 cash day. Like, what? Hi, Marie. And 25,000 in 4 days. Like, what? Who? Like, she's amazing. When you are thinking about your movement that you're building, you also want to think about the identity that you're bringing people into. And the identity doesn't mean that you have to have a name. Do not try and to come up with some forced push name for your community, thinking that the name is what's going to actually drive the sales. So when I first started Freedom Queen, literally just thinking of this, I knew it. I had to call out that mindset from the beginning. When I first started Freedom Queen, the name of the LLC is Move and Manifest. And I said, I need a name for the movement. I need a name for the movement. We're going to call ourselves the Move and Manifestors. And I tried it. I tried to force it. I tried to push it. And obviously it didn't stick. Obviously calling ourselves Move and Manifestors was not the vibe. I did not feel into it. I did not like it. But instead of thinking about the name, I said, let me drop this and let me just be so involved in my community. And let me just be so involved in the essence of who I want them to be. And I started to think about it. Who do I actually want my clients to be? And as I was talking with clients, I would always call them queen. I love royalty. I love reigning. I love service and wisdom and dedication and commitment and impact and making the rules and leading people and going in and being out in the trenches with your people. I love that. And I also deeply embodied freedom. Keyword, embodied freedom. Embodied. When I was showing up in my business, I wasn't just saying to my audience, travel the world and be your own boss. That's an external place of freedom. Oops, somehow someone's annotating. That's an external place of freedom. But really what it was driving from was an internal place of freedom. And as I started to hear this, I really realized that the actual essence of the movement was this piece of being free and reigning and leading and trailblazing like the beautiful queen that you are. And so I want to break these down for you today so that I can also help you make your own identity for your movement. But it's not about the name. It's about who they're being. And so when I looked at Freedom Queen, I looked at it and broke it out into these two pieces. Freedom, paving her own pathway, setting her soul free, speaking how she actually speaks, creates freedom for her no matter what. If she wants to go travel the world, she does that. If she wants to stay at home and build a beautiful home, she does that. If she wants to have a home birth, she does that. If she doesn't want to do that, she does that. But ultimately, she's setting herself free to do what she wants to do. Not what Sally Sue down the block is doing, but what she wants to do. And when I started to think about who do I actually want in my communities, this was the person I wanted. I didn't want someone, Sally Sue is back. I didn't home birth. That was just an idea. I didn't want someone who would look at me and go, well, Bridget's like that, so I have to be like that. I wanted a true pioneer, and someone who truly loves who they are and would say, this is what I want, and I'm going to go do it. Key part there. Are you doing what you want to be doing? Are you saying it the way you want to say it? Are you wearing what you want to be wearing? And then the other part was Queen. She reigns. I loved studying the Queen archetype. She embraces and solves issues. I knew that I didn't want clients that were like, woe is me, Instagram sucks. Don't care if your Instagram likes are bad, figure it out. Let's solve the problem together. Let's find the way. I wanted clients and members of this community that were like, hey, I see another person in Freedom Queen struggling. I'm going to go help her. I wanted someone who can make the rules, who's brave, who's audacious, who's confident, but also maybe she's a little nervous, but she's going to do it anyways. But she's brave enough to defy all odds and make her own rules. I wanted someone to make an impact. And then as I was studying Queen archetypes, these 4 words came in: wisdom, discretion, commitment, and dedication. She has the wisdom. And if she doesn't have the wisdom, she's going to gain the experience to get the wisdom. Discretion. She's able to decide what's for her and what's not for her, but that doesn't make someone else good and someone else bad. She's committed. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Are you truly committed to your movement? Are you truly committed to yourself? And even if you already are, I want to ask you today to just be a little bit more committed. No matter, I don't care if you've made $700 million, be more committed. That's what we're here for. Deep levels of service and then dedication. She's dedicated to showing up for her community no matter what. Notice none of these things say anything like, Freedom Queen, she wants to live on a boat, or she wants the private jet, and then a queen, she buys luxury things. It wasn't about that. It was about who they're being, because all of those external things can change. And so inside of your identity, I want you to think about who you want them to be. Put it in the chat. Who do you want them to be? because I've been studying communities and I've been studying um, client behavior and why some people succeed and some people seem to always struggle and be in victim mindset, never actually go anywhere. And I was thinking about this: who you want your people to be. If you can call in the people that you want to be, and these people are, you know, empowered people. These people are people that want to grow. They have positive mindsets. They don't blame other people. Now, I do believe that people can change, but at their core, this is who they really are. You call in these people, not only are they going to get so much better results than the current clients that you might be working with or past clients that you've worked with, you're also going to create this epic community where no one wants to leave. How many of you have been inside of Freedom Queen since the very beginning, or you feel like you've been in Freedom Queen for a while, even like a year or 6 months? Some of you, you joined in 1 month and you've been in here for a while. It feels like you're involved in an entity that's bigger than something that you've been in before. This piece of who you want them to be is so important because let's say you're unclear about who you want to be, who you want them to be, and you start messaging and bringing in clients, and all of a sudden, one bad apple who doesn't fit who you want to be comes into your space and wrecks the vibe of the community. Or you have so many people with different identities of who they are and what they want that when they come into the space and you have all these different mixes of people, it feels wobbly and off. It's not just your job to protect yourself as a leader. It's also your job to protect your community. And the more clear that you are about who you want them to be, the characteristics they have, how they take action, how they show up, what will happen is the clearer your audience will be and the more easily they'll be able to spread the message for you. Because if your customers can't put into words what it is that you do, they're always going to be confused. And they're always going to say, "Oh, that Sally Sue girl, she just kind of like does a bunch of business and Instagram." No, you don't want that. When you're building a brand, a movement, and a community inside of the movement, you have to give your audience specific languaging that you want them to spread, because they will go and spread a message. And if you're not actually being intentional about the message that you want your audience to go and spread, they'll go and spread a message for you. And so over the last 3 years, something that I've done is be very careful about the languaging that I use. Be very intentional about even things like hashtag I'm a freedom queen inside of our Facebook groups. Who do you want them to be? Because as your movement grows, and I know many of you here, you dream of building, that's why you're here, a multi-million dollar massive international movement. People are going to become messengers of your word. And if it's not clear, they're going to spread the wrong word for you. But if it is super clear and it's an amazing message, it will compound. And so I don't want you to think about, what can I call them? Instead, I want you to think about, who do I want them to be? And then be so involved in your community and listen to them and what they're saying. Hey, Brianna, listen to this is a perfect training for you and what you're doing. Listen to them, because your community is giving you the information that you need to name. I want to tell you a quick story that changed my life, and maybe it will land for you all. One of my mastermind clients, Alex, how many of you guys know Alex inside of our mastermind? She's been in the mastermind for a year, and she just re-signed for another 6 months, and she came to Costa Rica last weekend. And a couple of weeks ago, she told me, she said, I was going through a challenging time. And in my business, something was happening. And she said, the first thing that I did is I reached for the Freedom Queen necklace. And all of a sudden, I felt like I could do it. I felt like I could show up for myself. Maria says, I have the necklace on right now. So do I. And that moment was so powerful because what that means is that the movement messaging, the movement, the soul of the movement was doing its job. This is a gold necklace from Etsy. This is just something we order online. But the movement messaging is what has made it become something that could literally save someone's life, make a massive impact around the world, wake people up and remember who they are. Put a yes in the chat if you're like, I get this. Okay, I want a necklace. Yes, 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 yes. A couple of weeks ago, one of my past clients who just bought a ticket for Freedom Queen Live, our conference next year, she messaged me and she was wearing her Freedom Queen robe at her wedding. But again, this had nothing to do with the white robe or the gold necklace from Etsy. It had nothing to do with like how cute they are and everything to do with who you want to be when you're inside of this brand. So I want you to really reflect on this over the next 2 days. Who do you want them to be? Not what do you want their external results? Who do you want them to be inside of it? And dare to isolate people. Dare to say, I am not for me, like I'm not for the person that, blames Instagram as the reason why they can't make money or blames their followers as the reason why their community isn't growing or people aren't signing on. I'm for the person that is 100% in total ownership over their life. And so you want to think about, this is who I am for, this is who I want them to be, but also this is who I'm not for. That's going to be a part of your homework, but I want to keep going. So I want you to think about in your community, we're going to get into more strategy now. So things that you can actually be doing on a day-to-day basis. How can you create more connection with your community? And I guarantee you right now, one of the reasons why you're not seeing as many sales as you would like to be seeing at a faster rate is because you're lacking this. People don't trust you, and rightfully so. You don't deserve to be trusted. You're not someone who's trustworthy if you can barely show up for your community. And by the way, this means that you have discretion because you're a freedom queen. So you don't have to show up in the way that I show up. You can show up in the way that you want to show up for your community. So let's get really creative here. And I want you to put some ideas in the chat. How can you create more connection with your customers? For me, I love doing our Freedom Queen weekly live show. I've been doing a weekly live inside of our Facebook group or our YouTube channel for 3 years. For 3 years, I've been going live every single week, connecting with my audience. I want you to put it in the chat. What are some ways that you can create deeper connection with your audience that's beyond just doing, a monthly masterclass? That's beyond, selling on your Instagram stories. The point here is to actually create connection and get to know the people behind the screen. I feel like I know every single person on this live here today, all 67 of you. Why? Because I've really taken the time to actually do connection. Ooh, private voice memos when I see them and they need celebration. Going live twice a week. I put a couple ideas here, but I wanted to open it up for creativity together. Is it a group chat? Is it like a broadcast channel where you send audio messages like, hey guys, I just want to let you know, like, this is what's happening in my life. Here's what's going on. Is it an email with the heart? Is it letting people like just see you for who you really are and sharing stories about yourself? Create a community that is based on connection. And then I want to push you a little bit. Is that okay if I love and shove you a little bit? I often hear, now this is where the discretion comes in part of Freedom Queen. I often hear people say things like, well, but I don't want to do all of that. Well, I don't want to show up. Well, I don't want to host a Facebook group. Well, I don't want a Slack channel. Well, I don't care. The reason being is if you genuinely care about serving your community and you're saying, I don't want to show up and connect with my audience, there's a deeper problem here that we need to uncover together. We need to go into that. Because I want to remind you, we're in this service business. Our job is to get up every day and go, how can I help Lorna? How can I help Kristen, Melissa? How can I better serve Amanda, Alexa? So I want you to commit for the next 365 days. We're talking a year. I want you to commit to building connection with your community consistently. And one of the reasons this helps is because when you're doing it consistently in the same fashion every single week, or whatever your frequency is, every month or once a quarter or every day, if you're going buck wild, when you build connection over and over and over again in a consistent manner, people will always be plugged into that space, and you'll always have somewhere to go, and you'll always have a community to sell to. You'll always be able to go back to this community and say, hey guys, I have this thing available. Would you like to buy it? Everyone says yes. And we're going to get into some ideas of where you can actually house these. But for now, I want you to think about, in terms of connection, what is your zone of genius and how you connect with people? Are you better at connecting with people on video? Are you better at connecting with people via email and via text? Are you better at connecting with people via audio message? Just put it in the chat. I want you to think about what is your zone of genius, but also what's best for your lifestyle. Maybe you're a mom and you don't have time to do a video, or maybe video is best for you. Think about what actually is your best way of communicating. And then let's leverage that piece of your zone of genius: video, audio messages, text messages, whatever they are. And then, okay, now that we have that information, let's think about how we can actually package this together in a home space. If it's text message, maybe it's like you get everybody on a text subscriber list. If it's video, maybe you do a weekly live inside of your Facebook group or on your Instagram. If it's audio message, maybe you have everyone in a Voxer broadcast channel or in a broadcast channel on Instagram. If it's email, maybe it's just via email every week and you're telling a story. And then you want to think about what is easiest. Remember on yesterday, I asked everybody to put the word in the chat: simple. Simple scales, complex fails. You want to make this simple. You want to make it be something where it's a no-brainer. Like Freedom Queen Live, I can show up and be like, hey everybody, I'm here for Freedom Queen Live. How can I serve you? Video works really well for me. I love being with you, being able to see you and feel your energy. But that's me. The idea of always sending an audio message in my group chat, I don't always like that. So I want you to commit to, for the next year, creating a community home. And I would make it free. I would make it free, and I would serve on the same frequency every single, whatever it is for you, whether it's weekly, quarterly, monthly, daily. You commit for the next year to consistently show up in that space and then refine it. And then as you're on these spaces with your customers, what I want you to do is a couple of things. Deeply see the person on the other screen. Say their names when they're talking in the chat. Ask them questions to get to know them more. One of the things I hear over and over and over again is, Bridge, you have one of the most engaged communities on the internet. Like, it is insane, this community that you built. But we're just mirrors for each other. Are you asking people questions? Are you getting to know their name? Are you making them feel seen and heard? You make someone feel seen and heard, they're going to stay with you forever. Why is our retention rate so high within our programs? Because people aren't just coming to learn something from me, like get a strategy and bounce. They're coming to be a part of the community and build a deep relationship with us. That's actually what we're doing, is building massive relationships with people. And what happens is it compounds. I would say 98% of every single client I've worked with has returned to a program. I was speaking with the mastermind clients this weekend in Costa Rica, and one of them said to me, like, yeah, I've been in other programs before, but I left because I never like felt anything. I learned something and everyone would just kind of join the program and leave. But there wasn't any connection. There wasn't any status. There wasn't any importance, feeling of importance inside of it. And that's what makes Freedom Queen different, is it's bigger than just, can I come learn what to post on social media and how to make money? I feel important. I'm going to get into that in a second. Brianna Johnston, where would you recommend to host this, Bridget? And how do you not fall into coaching people in that free space? First of all, I would look at your zone of genius. So for me, for a while, we were doing a Facebook group for almost 2 years. We were doing it inside of our Facebook group, until I wanted to open up another channel, and we started doing it on YouTube. This is a really, really key point here. The free community should be back end facing. I wouldn't make it public facing, meaning like it's like an Instagram live or a TikTok live. I would make it be a place where people have to opt in to join. Basically, they have to knock on the door to join the free community. They have to opt in via their email. They have to download some app. They have to do something that makes them feel like they can't just show up on your Instagram and go, I'm here. We want the knocking effect. Like, you have to make a reservation at the restaurant to get in. Does that make sense? You guys picking what I'm putting down here? And then in terms of where you host it, I would just look at what's best for you. Sometimes Facebook groups aren't best for some of my clients. So I do a Facebook group, but you need to think about what works best for you. So some of my clients, it's Discord, Slack, Telegram, Voxer. There's so many different apps and things that you can use, but you want to think, what's going to be easiest? What can I commit to doing and showing up there? You are remodeling my entire business right now, Jacqueline. I can't wait for our private Voxer session. And then the next piece that I want to go into is collaborative community. So one of the things that we do really well inside of Freedom Queen, and that you can leverage way more of, is make other people feel important. Oh my gosh, wait, I love this message here. Jacqueline says, I see how much I am not serving and showing up for them, and I'm like, whoa, I get to do so much more. And the really key point here, I saw Brianna ask us in the chat, how do you serve your people without, feeling like you're giving away all of your free coaching? Well, first of all, you give it away. Like, reciprocity is very real. This doesn't mean, there's a difference between serving people and then being a doormat. Being a doormat, you don't have any boundaries. Being a doormat means you are available 24/7. Being a doormat means, sure, like, my door is always unlocked and I don't know how to lock it, so you can walk in whenever you want. Serving people requires a certain standard for both of us. It requires boundaries. It requires parameters of how we're actually going to use this space. So let's say you serve your people every single Monday at 11 a.m. in your Facebook group. Okay, that's my thing. Maybe yours is Slack. Maybe yours is in a Voxer channel. You want to set parameters and expectations how to use this space. Every Monday, I'm going to come in and I'm going to serve you guys, and that's it. So I always, whenever I do Freedom Queen Live, I come in, I serve. There's no one on a Zoom room. There's no one, you don't have like access to talk with me, private coaching. I come in and I serve and I leave. If you want to actually get customized coaching, you can upgrade. Now, the other thing as well, this is a little bit of money mindset. This is different than what we've been talking about today, but it's kind of the same. People who pay attention. And so even if you're giving it away for free every single Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, even if, like I always say this, you could go to my entire Instagram feed and learn how to build $1 million business. You could go to Google and learn how to heal your hormones, how to get healthy, how to have a home birth, how to do whatever, but you won't. You still hire people. Why? People are hiring people for connection. People are hiring people for customization. They're hiring people for community. They're hiring people for importance. People aren't just hiring you because you gatekeep all the information. You could listen to my podcast, every single thing for free, but you don't and you won't. And the reason being is because people who pay attention. There's a reason why some people succeed and others don't. There's an energetic commitment for some, and there's some for not. And then there's not for some. And what happens is like, you guys have seen different studies of free versus paid. People that get things for free are way less likely to consume. There's less energetic buy-in. So I would not even worry about people not upselling to your programs. You give more, you're going to get more. This is why I said in the beginning, you take the time to build the hottest movement on the internet, you're never going to have to worry about making a sale again. You just serve with the purpose of serving. Oh my God, that will compound like no other. But also have boundaries. So inside of your collaborative communities, I want you to think of ways that you could connect other people together. Maybe it's when you do your, let's say something like our monthly Q&A inside of our membership, you put everyone into breakout rooms. Maybe when someone joins your free community, you make them find a business bestie or whatever it is that you do. You make them find an accountability buddy. Maybe when someone joins your community, you put them into an onboarding group chat. We used to do this inside of the membership. Everyone got put into that cohort's onboarding group chat, and for a week, they got to network with one another like they were new people coming into the community. When we were first growing our communities, I would send a welcome message to everyone that joined. Again, discernment, but you're the Freedom Queen, so you know how to practice that and find out what's best for you. I was willing to message every single person, say, welcome to Freedom Queen. I'm so excited that you're here. How can we serve you? There's also things that you can do inside of our membership. We have automations that go off. It sends you a message saying, hey, what's your vision for the next 6 months? I would love to know. Another thing that we do inside of Freedom Queen, when you join the membership, we're going to be removing this feature in 2024, but we've been doing it for the last like 4 or 5 months, is you get a 10-minute onboarding call when you join our membership. Most people would be like, I don't want to do that 10-minute call. Like most 7-figure business owner, I even see business owners making like 100K, 50K, be like, I don't want to do that. It's like, our job is to serve people at the highest level. And so if you want to serve people and make money, serve people and you will make money. I've always been the one, and maybe some of you are here, that is willing to go out of her way and do other things for other people, not because I expect something back, but because my job is to serve people. And in the end, those things will always return to you, and you don't need to know the how, but they will. So how can you make your client experience feel special? How can you make them feel like, wow, I've just stepped into something that's totally different? Is it an onboarding group? Is it that you do business besties? Is it that you've been, like you have, what we have started doing is Freedom Queen Pioneers, where other people inside of the communities, they go and they work with other people. So Freedom Queen, like put a yes in the chat if you've ever been a Freedom Queen Pioneer. So what you do is the Freedom Queen Pioneers, or we had this like a Freedom Queen accountability group. Yeah, Pearl's been one of the biggest leaders inside of Freedom Queen. They go and do all of the stuff in the free community. Well, then that frees up my space to be able to be in my zone of genius, which is creating programs and serving you at different levels. There's so many other things that you can do. And I see people saying in the chat, like, you're worried that the free thing is going to take up your time, but the whole point is community. It's not about you, it's about them. And so can you create the space for them to network? I actually don't really do anything. No, I don't do anything in our free community. If I have like 5 minutes here or there, I'll pop in and be like, hey, everybody, what's going on? But it's the community that's actually leading it. And then another piece is, how are you making your clients feel important? How are you making your clients feel important? This really landed for me this weekend when my client said to me, I like, I don't want to leave. Like, I've had clients working with me for years. They're like, I love this space because I learn, also because you're growing. And we're going to be talking about that on Friday's training of pioneering the pathway. Because if you're not continuing to grow and take care of yourself and pioneer and trailblaze, there's no reason people will stay to work with you. People want to be with people that are going somewhere. Why? Because if we're not growing, we're dying. Like Tony Robbins talks about that all the time. People want to be with people that are going somewhere. And so if your clients are dropping, it's probably because you've stopped embodying the vision for yourself and pioneering the pathway. And so we're going to be talking about that on Friday. But for today, how can you make your clients feel important? I'll give you some ideas. Spotlighting them, having them on your podcast, interviewing them on your Instagram, celebrating their wins, bringing them onto your community and celebrating that person. How many of you have been featured inside of Freedom Queen at one point and you feel amazing? Like we've had so many different people come on. One of the things that we're doing inside of our the membership in December is we're having clients from our mastermind and our headquarters and a couple private coaching clients come into the membership, and for 12 days of Freedom Queen Christmas. Put a yes in the chat if you're excited about this. Put a yes in the chat if you're excited about the 12 days of Freedom Queen Christmas in December. Put a yes in the chat if you're pumped about that. If you're in the Make Money membership, I'm stoked. And all we're doing is we're bringing in people from other programs to serve you. Why is it so important? Because it's not about me. And especially if you want the external freedom, you want to give other people the microphone inside of your movement. I don't care what you're selling, whether it's bookkeeping, fertility, hormone health, social media management, whatever it is, you are selling wake up, feel good. You're selling wake up and feel alive. Come home to you. And the more you can make someone feel important, even if you're doing bookkeeping, they're going to stay with you forever. I was reflecting on different communities that I've been in the last 10 years, and I was thinking, why have I stayed in some communities and I've left some communities? Not that the value wasn't there, the value was there. It's the community, it's the movement. And if you lead with this work that we're talking about today, people won't leave. Or they'll leave and they'll come back. Or they'll leave and they'll spread the message and then come back 10 years later. Or they won't come back at all, but they're spreading the message about you and your word, and it will compound. And so when people ask me, how do you continue to grow every single month and it always feels like your business is just like this, it's this work that we're talking about today. Okay, I'm coming into the chat here. Anna says, are you all in the Freedom Queen Collective? So we don't have a collective. We have the Freedom Queen membership, which is $97 a month, and actually just closed. There's already like 20 something people on the wait list, and I barely talked about it. If you guys want to get on the wait list, it's on our Instagram. Get on the wait list when it opens up again. The Freedom Queen headquarters, I have a secret. The Freedom Queen headquarters is actually going to be opening up at the end of this week. If you guys have been wanting to get early access to that, send me a message because we're going to be raising the price for it on Sunday. You guys are the first to know, but we're opening it up again this week. The vision is becoming so powerful right now. Yes, that's true. Some communities are not communities. They're not. And that's okay if that's your intention behind what it is you're building. But I see people say, I want to build this extraordinary business and this movement, but they're lacking these core 3 components that I'm teaching on in this course over these 3 days. Ebony says, I have 2 clients just starting out. Should I just invite everyone to my community? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a quick story before we go into the homework and we wrap up for today. When I first started my business, I would go live in my Facebook group every Monday at 5 p.m. because majority of my clients work jobs. And so I knew that that would be a great time for them. When they got off work, they were driving home. And I would go inside of the Facebook group, and actually, it's quite embarrassing. But if you go to our media page inside of our Facebook group and you go way back down to the bottom, because one of my clients did this, you'll see that I was going live with no one watching. No one was there. And I served just like I do today. I served then as if hundreds of people had signed up for that training. So I don't care if there's 0 people there, if it's just your mom there, if it's 5,000 people there, serve the human. Okay, I want to close with this. I often really think that many people on the internet see numbers. They genuinely see numbers. And if you start to imagine that every single like, every single time someone likes your story, one human being, I just want you to like embrace yourself for a minute. Like really give yourself a hug. Yes, just like feel yourself for a minute here. One human being is on the other side. Like there's 62 of us here, 62 human beings with feelings and purpose, and they're on this planet for a reason, are sitting there engaging with your work. And if you treat the person and really see the person, you don't have to keep embracing yourself unless you want to. And you really keep seeing the person on the other side of the screen and speaking to what they need, and you support them and you make them feel important. You will build a multi-million-dollar business. You will build something that's making everyone go, how is she doing that? Fire, Stella says. So your homework for today is to post inside of the Facebook group, our Freedom Queen Facebook group, how will you create more community inside of your programs? Yes, Jacqueline. Yes, Pearl. How are you going to create more community inside of your programs? And I want you to really reflect on this inside of the Facebook group of, are you going to open up a free community? If you already have communities, how can you refine and make it simple for you, but simple and potent for your audience? And I really want you to lay it out. You can take up as much space as you want and make a post. Put a yes in the chat if you're going to commit to doing the homework for today. Put a yes in the chat if you can do that. Yes, Lorna says yes, yes, yes. I want to see 59 yeses in the chat. Heck yes, 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 yes. And on Friday, we're going to be talking about pioneering the pathway in terms of offer creation, in terms of leading yourself, in terms of declaring your bigness for the rest of your life. As a reminder, on Friday, I'm giving one person on this training $500 of credit to be used towards any of our programs. The way to enter to win is take a screenshot of today or do a reflection today and tag me on Instagram and you'll be entered. We're going through and adding everyone's name to a list, and then we put them into our wheel of names wheel. We spin it and we select one winner. And on Friday, we'll be selecting them and you'll get $500 of credit. Okay, you have your homework. I will see you on Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, right inside of this same Zoom room. Okay, Freedom Queen, I love you, and I will see you on Friday. Bye, everyone. Bye.